यशोदानन्दन ब्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare Jayo Radha Kala Chanji Radha Jayo Radha Govind Radhe Jayo Jagannath Jayo Baladeva Jayo Subhadra Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Prabhupada Jayo Gurudev Jayo Gurudev Jai Gurudev Nitai Gaur Premanande Jayo Shri Caitanya Jayo Nityananda Jayo Dvaita Chandra Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jayo Shri Caitanya Jayo Nityananda Jayo Dvaita Chandra Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jayo Jayo Shri Chaitanya Jayo Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jayo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. Praying at the lotus feet of my spiritual master, our dear Mo Srila Prabhupada and all the Guru Vargas, may I speak few words in the glorification of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Shiksharthakam Puru Eka Purusha Puranam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sharira Dhari Kripam Budhiryatamaham Prapadye. Let me take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, who was descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach us real knowledge, his devotional service and detachment from whatever does not foster Krishna consciousness. He has descended because he is an ocean of transcendental mercy. Let me surrender to him and to his lotus feet. May I speak few words for the pleasure of the Vaishnavas and for my very own purification. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubeva cha patitanam pavnevyo vaishnavevyo namo namah. Mukum karoti vachalam pangum langayati girim yat kripatamaham bande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwar. Kathanchana smrite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhaved vismrite viparitam shat Sri Chaitanya namami tvam. Things that are very difficult to do become easy to execute if one somehow or other simply remembers Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But if one does not remember him, even easy things become very difficult. To this Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu I offer my respectful obeisances. Shri Chaitanya Caritamrta ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. So we are reading Chaitanya Caritamrta as usual on every Monday, and we are in Madhya Lila, and this is chapter 8. This is talks between the Lord and Ramananda Rai. And I could not exactly find where we ended last time. I tried to find it out, but I somehow could not. So we will do little revision. It's wonderful to have revision of the scripture so it sticks to our mind better. And before that, because this is a very, very grave and sweet and sober chapter, and especially Chaitanya Caritamrta, I feel it's a nectar, but also it has a very, very deep, deep, deep meaning to every verse that we go through. So I was reading this book from this book Sharanagati by Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and the introduction to it. It's a very, very sweet. Of course, it's Vaishnava Bhajan, has to be sweet. This is called Sri Chaitanya Jive Doya Kori. So we will read that. I will tell you the verse. You can go to KK song and we will read it so we understand. Before Chaitanya Caritamrta, we start today's verse because it is all about Radha Rani, Radha Kund, topmost bhakti of Radha and gopis. So it's really, really exalted topic, which I'm not qualified to talk, so I will just talk what Srila Prabhupada says. But to just set the mood, we can read this or meditate upon this beautiful song by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. This is Sharanagati, Bhakti Vinod Thakur's. This is introductory song, which is Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Daya Kori. If you want to pull it out. Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu jibe daya kori Swaparshad suya dhama saha avatari. Oh, you want to repeat? You want to repeat? Okay. You can sing along with together also. We'll repeat. Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu jibe daya kori Swaparshad suya dhama saha avatari. অত্যন্ত দুর্লভ প্রেম করিবারে দান শিখায় শরণাগতি ভকতের প্রাণ. Please remember this one again, we'll come back to it. অত্যন্ত দুর্লভ প্রেম করিবারে দান শিখায় শরণাগতি ভকতের প্রাণ. ধন্যাত্মা নিবেদন গোপ্তৃত্বে বরণ অবশ্য রক্ষিবে কৃষ্ণ বিশ্বাস পালন. ধন্যাত্মা নিবেদন গোপ্তৃত্বে বরণ অবশ্য রক্ষিবে কৃষ্ণ বিশ্বাস পালন. ভক্তি অনুকূল মাত্র করায় স্বীকার ভক্তি প্রতিকূল ভাব বর্জনাঙ্গীকার. ভক্তি অনুকূল মাত্র করায় স্বীকার ভক্তি প্রতিকূল ভাব বর্জনাঙ্গীকার. সদঙ্গ শরণাগতি হইবে যাহার তাহার প্রার্থনা শুনে শ্রীনন্দ কুমার. সদঙ্গ শরণাগতি হইবে যাহার তাহার প্রার্থনা শুনে শ্রীনন্দ কুমার. রূপা সনাতনা পাদে দন্ত ত্রিনাধর করি ভকতি বিনোদা পরে দুহু পাদা ধরি. রূপা সনাতনা পাদে দন্ত ত্রিনাদ করি ভকতি বিনোদা পরে দুহু পাদা ধরি. কাদিয়া কাদিয়া বলে আমি তো অধম শিখায় শরণাগতি করো উত্তম. কাদিয়া কাদিয়া বলে আমি তো অধম শিখায় শরণাগতি করো উত্তম. কাদিয়া কাদিয়া বলে আমি তো অধম শিখায় শরণাগতি করো উত্তম. Thank you, Prabhu. Why I was thinking of this verse and I thought of sharing with you because it sets the right mood why we are discussing what we are discussing. So of course the first one, it's sometimes KK song may not have exact meaning, but yeah, so the book has the word to word and the meaning, so I thought I will read from the book. But anyways, the first, we'll go mainly, but mainly I wanted to read this Atyanta Durlabha, the second one, but we will anyway read through the bhajan, the English meaning. So it says, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Swayadam. So it says that out of compassion for the fallen soul, Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya incarnated in this world along with his associates and his abode. So he came with his dham and with his parshad, that is his associates. We see in Panchatattva all his associates and all the other devotees of Mahaprabhu. He came along with them. And then this one, just hold into your heart. This is Atyanta Durlabha Prema Koribare Dan Shikhaye Sharanagati Bhakotero Pran. Durlabh means rare. Atyanta Durlabh, which is very, very, very rare. It's extremely rare. And to give that rare jewel, that is the Krishna Prema, he had come down. So we see how Mahaprabhu is discussing with Rai Ramananda this deep guhyam, this very the topmost nectar, that is the Krishna Prema. And of that also Srimati Radharani's Prema, which is so difficult to understand from somebody who is embodied, as Krishna would say. We have this body and we are covered with these three gunas. And for us to understand this transcendental love is very difficult. Krishna says Sarvadharma Parityajya, but how to do it? Mahaprabhu is coming down here to teach us how to do it. As I was reading in Veda gave it the verse, that Mahaprabhu came. Why did he come? Because he's an ocean of mercy. And so he came us to give this transcendental love of Godhead, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, to teach us how to do it. And especially this Atyanta Durlabh, that is very, very rare, Durlabh, Prema, the love of Godhead, Kori Bare Dan, to give, to donate, to give bhiksha, to give the dan. Shikhaye Sharanagati. Now this word Sharanagati, entire book is on Sharanagati. Bhakti Vinod Thakur's songs are so wonderful. If you read through, I was reading the introduction and it says that Narottam Das Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur's bhajans are only for devotees primarily. But Bhakti Vinod Thakur's is such that even a mundane person, a materialistic person, can be uplifted just reading Bhakti Vinod Thakur's songs. And he wrote unlimited, like this is Sharanagati, we have Kalyana Kalpataru and so on and so forth. This is the introduction to Sharanagati, so we understand how important it is. And so talking about the entire book talks about Sharanagati. Sharanagati means surrender. Like Krishna said, Sarvadharma Parityajya, surrender unto me. Prapadya, surrender unto me. But how to surrender? And the next verse speaks about the 6 limbs of Sharanagati. That is Danya, Atma Nivedan, Goptritya Varana, Avashya Rakshibe Krishna, Vishwasa Palana, Bhakti Anukula Matra, Koda Shikar, Bhakti Pratikula Bhava, Varjanadikar. Danya, that is humility. Atma Nivedan, surrendering oneself. Goptritya Varana, accepting the Lord as one's maintainer. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna, Krishna will certainly protect me. This is so powerful. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna, Krishna will definitely protect me. Vishwasa Palana, having a faith. Bhakti Anukula, whatever is favorable to devotional service. And Bhakti Pratikul, whatever is unfavorable. So we accept what is Pratikul, we reject what is Pratikul, that is unfavorable, and accept what is Anukul, which is favorable to Krishna consciousness. These 6 limbs of Sharanagati, whoever has the 6 limbs of Sharanagati, his prayer will be heard by the Lord Krishna. So it says Shadanga, that is the 6 limbs of Sharanagati. Hoibe Jahar, whoever has these 6 limbs of Sharanagati, Taharo Prarthana Shune, his prayers will be heard by whom? Nanda Kumar. Nanda Kumar is the son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna, Kalachandji. Roop Sanatan, of course, our Sat Goswamis, Pade Danta Trinada Kodi, holding a grass in our mouth, we are going, this is a sign of humility. We are going in front of, bowing down in front of Rupa Sanatan, Rupa and Sanatan. Bhakti Vinod, the author, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, our Acharya, he is falling down at their feet. And then the next one, last one says, Kadiya, Kadiya, Bole Amita Odham. I'm crying and saying I'm the worst, I'm the lowest. Shikhaye Sharanagati. You teach me Sharanagati, you teach me surrender, the 6 limbs of surrender. Koroho Uttam, make me the best. From the lowest to the best, how do you make me? By teaching me Sharanagati, by teaching me how to surrender with the 6 limbs. So I was thinking that, if we can meditate on this verse, on the bhajan of this, Bhakti Vinod Thakur wrote such a beautiful bhajan, and if we can meditate upon it, Prabhupada also asked us to read Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Narottam Das Thakur's bhajan, Vaishnava bhajan, that they brings, it's called the capsule. We have like gradation, like Bhagavad Gita, then Srimad Bhagavatam, then Caitanya Caritamrta, and then eventually the Vaishnava bhajan, they are like a capsule. You read one, and it keeps coming back to you, and then you start thinking about it. This bhajan I have heard many times before, but never gave it a thought, because it's my language, so it's like, just singing. But when you go deep into it, when you try to meditate upon it, they start revealing to you. Whether it's our chanting, whether our reading, with our services, or reading or reciting or singing the Vaishnava bhajan, when we really focus, meditate upon the words and trying to understand the mood of the author, the Acharya, they start revealing to us what they exactly are saying to us. And then it goes deeper and deeper. So we'll start today. As I was saying, I could not exactly find where we stopped. So we'll do a little recap and try to see where we can reach until. So this is talks between the Lord and Rai Ramananda. So far the chapter starts that Ramananda Rai and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya actually from chapter 6, that's the verse that I chanted from Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. This is Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya composing. He asked Rai Ramananda, or rather Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to meet Rai Ramananda. He said, he is a wonderful devotee which I never understood because I was covered by this Mayavad philosophy. Now that I understand that you taught me what is Krishna Prema, the pure devotional love, now I understand the importance of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Rai Ramananda and what he was trying to render. I never understood him, but now I do. And now that I do, you please go and meet him. So on insisting, from him being insisted by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and met Rai Ramananda. Seeing, as soon as he sees him, he become ecstatic, because Rai Ramananda is Vishakha Sakhi. So one of the 8 most dearmost gopis of Radha Krishna. And this is Radharani. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Radharani. And Vishakha Sakhi, you understand how you feel meeting your friend after a month or so. Here, like, in this material world, they are meeting again after so long. And Mahaprabhu is 24-year-old when he took sannyas, and now he has come and seeing Rai Ramananda, who is a government official, and they are completely different in their varnas and ashramas, but seeing them, they become so happy, they start, embracing each other. But Mahaprabhu, being a sannyasi, is also aware of his position. So he sees the brahmanas looking at him, the caste brahmanas, the smartha brahmanas looking, and not understanding how a sannyasi can become so ecstatic and so bhabuk. Bhabuk Nimai he was called after he got initiation from Ishwara Puri. From his spiritual master, he was called Bhabuk Nimai because he will cry all the time. He will be so emotional. Bhabuk means emotional. He will be so emotional. So he was called Bhabuk Nimai. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, he's mentioned as Bhabuk Nimai. And then they meet, and then they decide that we need to meet in a secluded place because the topic that we're going to discuss will be exalted and our relationship is different. So we cannot meet in public like this. So they meet in the evening. And then Mahaprabhu asks, speak something about Krishna. So Rai Ramananda starts from Varnashram Dharma, and Mahaprabhu will say, Yaha Bhajyo, this is external, speak something more. And then Mahaprabhu will speak, and then Rai Ramananda will start speaking about Karma Mishra Bhakti, and then Mahaprabhu will still say, this is external, speak further, deeper. And then again Rai Ramananda will speak about Karma Mishra Bhakti, and then Jnana Mishra Bhakti, yoga and then bhakti together. And then he will still say this is external, because this is mixed, this is not yet pure. So he wanted something pure, right? With the Rai Ramananda, he wants the complete nectar, no mixed. And then he start, Mahaprabhu, on asking again and again. Then Rai Ramananda start speaking about devotional service, love, pure love, which is of 5 kinds. And here it's been discussed on the 4 from Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhurya, Prema. And then Mahaprabhu from Sakhya, or rather Dasya, Mahaprabhu, because this doesn't have any tinge of any material motivation, any material contamination. So from here, he will start speaking. And then Mahaprabhu will start saying, Yaha hoy, this is something. From the servitude, he will start saying, this is something. I like it. Go ahead. Say something more deeper. And then he will speak about Sakhya, and then Vatsalya, and then we are in Madhurya. Like that, it goes on. And Mahaprabhu had been told by Rai Ramananda that Krishna, ye yathamam prapadyante, Krishna always reciprocate. But when it came to Madhurya, the love of Gopi, here he was told that Krishna cannot reciprocate. And that's where we were, yes, last time also, I think Chakri Prabhu was explaining. I will just quickly go through because we have already gone through this. I didn't want to directly jump into Radha Prem and then Radha Kund, so I will, according to my adhikar, my qualification, I will start a little before. So this is Bengali, I will read. This is text 90, Madhya 8, Chaitanya Caritamrta. Ei premero nurup na pare bhojite, অতএব ঋণী হয় কহে ভাগবতে. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10:32-22, it is said that Lord Krishna cannot proportionately reciprocate devotional service in the Madhurya Ras. Therefore, he always remains a debtor to such devotees. Na parayeham narvadya samyujam swasadhu krityam vibudhayushapiva yama bhajandur jayageha shrinkhala sambrishchaya tadva pratiyatu sadhuna. Translation. When the gopis were overwhelmed with dissatisfaction due to Lord Krishna's absence from the Rasa Leela, Krishna returned to them and told them, "My dear gopis, our meeting is certainly free of all material contamination. I must admit that in many lives it would be impossible for me to repay my debt to you. Because you have cut off the bondage of family life just to search for me. Consequently, I am unable to repay you. Therefore, please be satisfied with your honest activities in this regard." So Krishna was absent and the gopis were sad, and Krishna returns and says, "Please continue with your loving devotional service towards me. Though I cannot repay you in many, many births, not only this, but you still continue." He is not saying, "I cannot pay you and don't do it." He's saying, "Continue, but I cannot pay." That is unconditional love, like the mother and the son. That's the closest that we have in, or daughter, that's the closest that we have in a material world. যদ্যাপি কৃষ্ণ সৌন্দর্য মাধুর্যেরও ধৈর্য ব্রজ দেবীর সঙ্গে তার বারে মধুর্য. Although Krishna's unparalleled beauty is the topmost sweetness of love of Godhead, his sweetness increases unlimitedly when he is in the company of the gopis. Consequently, Krishna's exchange of love with the gopis is the topmost perfection of love of Godhead. Purport: Krishna and his devotees become perfectly intimate in conjugal love of Godhead. In other mellows, the Lord and the devotees do not enjoy transcendental bliss as perfectly. So, the next verse, Srimad Bhagavatam 10:33-6, will illustrate this point. So, just quickly, we discussed about other rasas. Other rasas does not have, and we have discussed it earlier also in the verses that Ramananda was saying, and Prabhupada was beautifully explaining with long purports that even if the others have the rasas, but it is not as complete as Madhurya. Madhurya is complete, but yet the other devotees who are in different rasas, like Vatsalya, like Yashoda, Mother Yashoda doesn't want to become Radharani or any other gopi. They are satisfied, but Madhurya ras is complete. तत्रातिषु शुभे ताभिर्भगवान् देवकी सुता मध्ये मनीनां हैमानां महामार्कटा यथा. Translation: Although the son of Devaki, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the reservoir of all kinds of beauty, when he is among the gopis, he nonetheless becomes more beautiful, for he resembles a Markata jewel surrounded by gold and other jewels. So Krishna is very beautiful, right? Srimad Bhagavatam also says, but he becomes even more beautiful when he is around the gopis, like this jewel of Markata. Prabhu kohe shaddo bodhi shuni, Prabhu kohe ei shaddo bodhi shunishchoy, কৃপা করি কহ যদি আগে কিছু হয়. He is like, getting deeper and deeper in the nectar. Now he's not able to control him. That's Mahaprabhu, where he is like, he's like, say more, like that, Aniyor. Translation: Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "This is certainly the limit of perfection, but please be merciful to me and speak more if there is more." রায় কহে ইহার আগে পুছে হেন জনে এতদিন নাহি জানি আছো এ ভুবনে. Rai Ramananda replied, "Until this day I did not know anyone within this material world, who could inquire beyond this perfectional stage of devotional service? He said, this is the topmost that I have discussed, and nobody else till now had asked beyond this. Now he has to speak beyond this because the Lord is asking, right? ইহার মধ্যে রাধার প্রেম সাধ্য শিরোমণি যাহার মহিমা সর্বশাস্ত্রেতে বাখানি. Translation. Among the loving affairs of the gopis, Ramananda Rai continued, Srimati Radharani's love for Sri Krishna is topmost indeed. The glories of Srimati Radharani are highly esteemed in all revealed scripture. यथा राधा प्रिया विष्णु तस्या कुंडम प्रियम तथा सर्वगोपीषु सैवैका विष्णु अत्यंत बल्लभा. Just as Srimati Radharani is most dear to Sri Krishna, her bathing place Radha Kunda is also dear to him. Among all the gopis, Srimati Radharani is supermost and very dear to Lord Krishna. Purport. This verse is from Padma Puran and is included in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita 2.145 by Srila Rupa Goswami. It also appears in the Adi Lila, chapter 4, verse 215, and again in the Madhya Lila, chapter 18, verse 8. Anayaradhito nunam bhagavan harishwarayan no vihaya govinda pritoyam anayadraha. Translation. When the gopis began to talk among themselves, they said, Dear friends, the gopi who has been taken away by Krishna to a secluded place must have worshipped the Lord more than anyone else. Jai Shri Shri Radha Kalachandji. Purport. The name Radha is derived from this verse, Bhagavatam 10:30-21. From the word Anaya Radhita means by her the Lord is worshipped. Sometimes the critics of Srimad Bhagavatam find it difficult to find Radharani's holy name in that book, but the secret is disclosed here in the word Aradhita, from which the name Radha has come. Of course, the name of Radharani is directly mentioned in other Puranas. This gopi's worship of Krishna is topmost, and therefore her name is Radha, or topmost worshipper. So that's Radharani. Prabhu kohe aghe koho shunite pai shukhe অপূর্ব অমৃত নদী বহে তোমার মুখে. So the Mahaprabhu is super happy, super ecstatic, beyond happy, beyond bliss. And he said, Shukhe, like in bliss, I'm hearing you. Please continue because it is like Amrita, the nectar is flowing out of your mouth. Translation. Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, please speak on. I'm very happy to hear you because a river of unprecedented nectar is flowing from your mouth. চুরি করি রাধাকে নীলা গোপী গণের দ্বারে অন্যাপেক্ষা হইলা প্রেমারোগা গাদাতানাসপুরে. Garotanaspure, sorry. Garo means condensed. Garotanaspure. Garo is very, very condensed, very, very thick. During the Rasa dance, Sri Krishna did not exchange loving affairs with Srimati Radharani due to the presence of other gopis. Because of the dependence of the others, the intensity of love between Radha and Krishna was not manifested. Therefore, he stole her away. Purport. Out of fear of other gopis, Lord Sri Krishna took Srimati Radharani to a secluded place. In this regard, the verse comes Sharir Api, verse 106, in this chapter will be quoted from the Gita Govinda of Jayadev Goswami. রাধা লাগি গোপীর যদি সাক্ষাৎ করে ত্যাগ তবে জানি রাধা কৃষ্ণের গাঢ় অনুরাগ. That word গাঢ় and Gadota. So 102 is talking about Gadota and 103 is talking about Gado, means deep, condensed again. If Lord Krishna rejected the company of the other gopis for Srimati Radharani, we can understand that Lord Shri Krishna has intense affection for her. As I'm reading, this is about Srimati Radharani and Rasa Leela and dance. I'm so scared, and I'm so, there is a pastime of Srila Prabhupada where Prabhupada was asked to talk. Of course, it was all sort of people, not necessarily devotees, when Prabhupada was asked to speak about Rasa Leela, and Prabhupada was saying, no. And they said, and they thought, okay, let us tell that we are qualified. And Prabhupada finally gave up because Prabhupada was staying at their place. Prabhupada finally said, you might be qualified to hear, but I'm not qualified to speak. So before coming and even while doing it and after it, I beg forgiveness from Srila Prabhupada because I'm not qualified to speak, but it's there, my service, it's there in the book that Prabhupada gave us, and my Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada gave us the right to read it, so I'm just reading it. I don't understand anything, I don't experience anything, I'm just reading it as a matter of service. So somebody who could, Krishna could leave the gopis, all other gopis, just for one gopi must be very special, and that's Sri Radha, and that's what's being told. Raye kobhe tobe shuno premer mohima, trijogote Radha premer nahi ukma. Ramananda Rai continued, please therefore hear from me about the glories of Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani's loving affairs. They are beyond compare within these three worlds. And upma means, where is the word upma? Upma, not the one that we eat. Where is upma? Is comparison, right? Okay, yeah, comparison. Thank you. So there's no comparison. What to speak of three worlds? Nothing can be spoken of Srimati Radharani's unconditional love. গোপী গণের রাস নৃত্য মণ্ডলী ছাড়িয়া রাধা চাহি বনে ফিরে বিলাপ করিয়া. Translation. Finding herself treated equally with all other gopis, Srimati Radharani displayed her tricky behavior and left the circle of the rasa dance. Missing Srimati Radharani's presence, Krishna became very unhappy and began to lament and wander throughout the forest to search her out. So now Radharani felt, I'm treating like everybody else. So, just to have Leela, she had little man and she went somewhere. And Krishna is like a lost child, is looking for Radharani, where are you, where are you? And so, because of course all gopis are special, but Radharani is extra special. And now we will see the Mahima of Radharani. This is 8:20. I can pause if you have any discussion, or we will continue if none. And then we start from 106. And then there are, what's missing one page? You can recite this verse from Antalila with me, and then we can get into discuss. And if nothing, I'll continue reading Caitanya Caritamrta till 8:30. Shruyatam nityam giyatam mudha chintatam bhaktas Caitanya Caritamrtam. O devotees, may the transcendental life and characteristics of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always be heard, chanted and meditated upon with a great happiness. So when you read Caitanya Caritamrta, think of this verse, that you can meditate upon it. You should hear Caitanya Caritamrta every day and meditate upon it every day. Is there any correction, question? I don't know how much I know. Yeah, you have it? Okay, good.
Hare Krishna.
She has one.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
It's not turned on.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I was reading Srimad Bhagavatam for a while just trying to get through it. It was difficult for me because I wasn't feeling so like I didn't really want to go back and read, right? So I was telling one of my mentors this. I had made it to Canto 3, and I, sometimes I would like it, but it wasn't like pulling me. And so she recommended that I pause reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, start reading Sri Caitanya Charitamrta. So I did that, and I was feeling very inspired to read. But we constantly hear the importance of reading Srimad Bhagavatam daily or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam daily. And I live in the ashram right now, so I do go to Srimad Bhagavatam class regularly. But my thought is, or my question is, like, if we're reading Sri Caitanya Charitamrita daily, does that count also as, like, one with Srimad Bhagavatam in a way, or we should make the endeavor to read both?
I'll tell you what my experience is and if that works. So, what I have heard, that first you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, then you read Srimad Bhagavatam, then you go back to Chaitanya Charitamrita. And once you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will understand Srimad Bhagavatam better. Also, Prabhupada gave us these books, right? But what happens to me when I read continuously one book, of the three, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and Chaitanya Charitamrita, if I read one, I start missing the other one. So I'll go back to it. Again, come back to this. So for me, it is like, for all of us, it is like an eternal thing. We can never say, I'm done reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. We can never be done reading Chaitanya Charitamrita or Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. Even Bhagavad Gita basic, I'm not this body, is something I have not realized. And this is not a theory. As Prabhupada called, this is a science, Vigyan. Devotional service is something that we experience, right? So it is like back and forth, but I'm also scared if I don't leave that long. So I finish Bhagavad Gita, which I somehow did, so as to say at least reading it once. And then I will finish, Bhagavatam. Then I'll be rushing through it. I will not get the nectar out of it that I have to finish so that I can go to Chaitanya Charitamrita. So what I like to do back and forth. This I call not a class. This is like a reading for me. Because, whether others are hearing or not, I am reading it. And because I am in front of the mic, I remember everything, not everything, much of it. When I go back, I'll think about it. So that's why I like this class, that, this is like 1 hour for me reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. And in between, whenever I get chance, and then the verses, the one that I was reading from Vairagya Vidya, this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are many verses. We can remember those. Reading verses and just the translation also is as good as, reading. May not be the purport immediately. So you can mix it up, little bit of Bhagavad Gita in a day. If not the book, but the verses. And always going back. Because for me, I would say there is never a time when I feel I know it. Every time. That's how Prabhupada's purport, what to speak of the verses, the Prabhupada purport is also like, every time you go back to the purport, you'll say, oh, I didn't realize that point before. Or it didn't occur to me this way, the way it's occurring to me now. Like I was talking about the bhajan. I have heard it so many times, and another Vaishnava bhajan, another Bengali bhajan. But when you really read and meditate, and to do that, it takes long time. Very long time. You will be lost in Prabhupada's purport and what Prabhupada is saying. So that way completing is so difficult, and then completing one and going to another and another becomes difficult. So we can do it simultaneously. One day you read the verses and read one book and read the verses from the other, and then again read the other book and read the verses from this way. And Chaitanya Charitamrita is, even the verses, you see many a time Prabhupada doesn't give purports because they're self-explanatory often. So this is how, does it make sense? Yeah, and then also, like, mix and read is what I'm saying. Read everything.
Yeah, like systematic study is also important, but we should not force ourselves in our free time to, force myself to get through. We should follow, like, my heart is desiring to go back to Bhagavad Gita today, I'll read Bhagavad Gita today. Or my heart is desiring Chaitanya Charitamrita today, I'll read that today. We should.
So if you do, or what sometimes I like to do is read Srimad Bhagavatam every day for half an hour, 15 minutes or 20 minutes Chaitanya Charitamrita, 10 minutes Bhagavad Gita, like that, if you have 1 hour. Yeah.
On the point of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada's introduction to the Bhagavatam is Chaitanya Charitamrita, but a very abridged version. Right? So he's giving us that before, so that we can get a taste of Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's there. Like even when we're reading Bhagavatam, first thing that we do is read Chaitanya Charitamrita.
And he paused Srimad Bhagavatam to complete. I was thinking this, he paused Srimad Bhagavatam to give us Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yeah. Because I personally feel it, I don't know if it's the language or something else, I feel it's easier to get along with Chaitanya Charitamrita than Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, and also Bhagavatam has this Canto 2 and 3 and the creation and Brahmas. So you cannot go to Canto 10 directly. You have to go through all this. Meanwhile, you can be little lost and you can come back for the nectar and for the enthusiasm to, For Tattva, we can always go to Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, of course. But whenever you want some rasa for yourself, for the juice, you can come back to Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Thank you, Shmuva. Thank you so much for pouring so much nectar into the microphone, into our ears. I just had a reflection and a comment where you were saying about, reading something that appeals to you at the time. It just reminded me in the Bhagavad Gita, in the second chapter, Krishna says, in the purport to 247, Srila Prabhupada says that there's prescribed duties, emergency duties, and desired duties. So you could see that as when you said that, I was putting that in the category that we have desired duties that we do, things that, and it makes our devotional service doesn't become formulaic or rigid. It helps create that cultivate that spontaneous, loving affection in our hearts. And I had a question, when you're reading the translation of the Saranagati verse, you said, there's like the ways of Saranagati are humility, and second one, can you maybe describe a little bit, what does it mean, dedication of the self?
One moment, Prabhu. Atmanivedan?
Is that what it is? Okay.
The second one, right?
Okay.
Surrendering oneself.
Okay.
What does it say there?
It says, I'm just reading the English, so I guess I didn't read the...
Atmanivedan is surrendering oneself.
Dedication of self. So I'm just interested in the way they translate that as dedication of the self.
Yeah, the one that's in the book says surrendering oneself.
I see.
Complete look. Yeah, sometimes KK song has different.
Right.
They sometimes completely change the meaning, but yeah. I was recently reading, which one? Gurudev Kripa Brindudiya, also by Bhakti Vinod Thakur from Sharanagati. And they, like, instead of saying something he just put it to himself or something the translation is not right at all. So we have to double check when. Okay. Mostly it is right. Sometimes, yeah. So surrendering oneself. You want to say something, Prabhu? Did you get the meaning, Prabhu? Now it's clear? Or? Yeah, it's surrendering oneself. Yeah.
Correlation between both translations, that, complete self-surrender and dedication of the self. That's all.
It's what do you say? It's a synonym sort of, isn't it? Like surrendering ourselves. That's what we are trying. That's what Krishna says, surrender unto me, surrender unto me. That's what he is saying, right? So we are trying to surrender, and how do we surrender? Recently I was hearing Haldar Maharaj, and he speaks, this is in Hindi, but he was speaking about Bhakti Tattva. And there he said everything that we do, whether reading Srimad Bhagavatam, whether chanting and everything around, it is only revealed to us through our devotional service. The physical endeavor that we do for Krishna, that's what reveals the deeper mood of our bhajan. By our, when we are doing bhajan, right, reading, chanting, these are our bhajan, kirtan. But how is it revealed to us is through our devotional service, through the service that we do for Krishna.
And I was just thinking, suggesting that when we talk about Atmanivedanam, the complete surrender of the self, to completely surrender the self, we need to dedicate our complete self to whatever we're doing in devotional service. I just thought those two translations, they were interesting. They supported each other.
Yeah, so completely surrendering us, like not holding anything. And then Chaitanya Charitamrita, what we are reading, previously we have mentioned about Bhakti means no contamination. Like no contamination, no nothing yours. It's only for the pleasure of Krishna. So that's complete surrender. Like, you have surrendered, and what do you do after surrendering? You act for him. You work for him. Am I speaking in the same track of? Yeah.
We're on the same track,
Okay.
same page.
Yeah.
To dedicating ourselves
Yes.
completely to the Supreme
The
Self.
verse like Anya Abhilashita Shunyam, Jnana Karmadi Anavrita. There is no tinge of jnana, there is no. That's what Mahaprabhu is saying, Ya Bhajjo. No karma, no jnana, pure bhakti. Right? Anya Abhilashita. Yeah. No other desire. Yes,
Thank you very much, Mataji, for encouraging all of us to deep dive into Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I was thinking, as Premamrita mentioned it, I was thinking Bhagavad Gita, right? It's like a law book. Just like a lawyer, he quotes penal code, so and so, right? And Bhagavatam is said to be like law journal. In 1969, this versus that case happened. So Chaitanya Charitamrita is non-different from Bhagavatam in one sense because it is more contemporary, hardly 500 years ago, right? So there are so many case laws there. So it is non-different in one sense from Bhagavatam, but also we have heard how it is even higher than Bhagavatam. It's sort of a PhD level syllabus, right? So that reminds me of one statement of my Guru Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He said, if you read first 7 chapters of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, so much in-depth philosophy that no one can ever think of going out of ISKCON for the sake of philosophy.
Yes.
Everything is given there.
And so this is Prabhupada on his lecture. He said, you are a devotee. If by even reading Bhagavad Gita you get, what do you say, goosebumps, what do you call it, hair standing on the end. So even Bhagavad Gita has nectar, it's just that we may not have the vision or understanding or realization to get it. So Prabhupada says you are a devotee. Anything related to Krishna is as nectarian, and even Bhagavad Gita should give you hair standing on, like how Chaitanya Charitamrita should usually gives to pure devotees, like that Bhagavad Gita should also give, and then you know you are a pure devotee. That's Srila Prabhupada on Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is very, very wonderful too. I mean, all of them are, it's very difficult to. Yes, Prabhu, sorry. You were saying something?
Yeah, to the point that Kripamaya Prabhu was speaking about surrender, the 6 limbs, Prabhupada gives the explanation in 1866 also. He goes through those 6 angas of surrender. Yeah. And then he's saying Atma Nikshepa or Atma Nivedana is similar to what you were saying. In the sense, we're not basing our surrender on karma or jnana. It's pure surrender. That's basically how Prabhupada is explaining Atma Nikshepa. That limb is that we're not holding on to karma or jnana. We're just surrendering to Krishna on the basis of devotional service.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, so if you read, even bhajan, include bhajans also along with Chaitanya Charitamrita, because it tells, it's like Chaitanya Charitamrita in one bhajan. That's how powerful Bhakti Vinod Thakur's bhajans are. I'm sure Narottam Das Thakur's too, but he is like our recent Acharya, so yeah. So thank you for your association. Mancha kalpa tarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyevacha patita nam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Shri Radha Kalachand ji ki jai.